alive. I ended the first one hung up on me for absolutely no reason, and it's almost 12:30. So I'm hoping I'll be done by 1, so I could take a shower and get to bed because I got to get up to go to the doctor's tomorrow at 10 a.m. I postponed it. Like I changed the date twice, and the last time I changed it because it was a snowstorm, so they moved it to today at 10 a.m. And if I don't go tomorrow or today, then I have to wait till like 3 weeks to go. Anyway, the vision board about my health. And so this is the first one I did in 2008. And then I have stuff about, a baby, adorable baby that's cute and a uterus and belly. And then it says before every fiber on my sinus dry as a desert, my belly shrunk in size to when I was 12. Yeah, that's a miracle. My arches, heels, and bunion fix, a healthy body with a healthy body mass index of when I was 12 and 24. My Saratoga Springs property, because at this point I started checking out places in upstate New York because I couldn't afford absolutely anything in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And I said, if I have to move to dirty ass, disgusting Baltimore, then hell to the no. I might as well move to upstate New York. Why would I move to Baltimore? Like if DC is so expensive, I can't afford. New York is just expensive. So I started looking at all over New York City, and then I looked even in dirty, nasty New Jersey City and Connecticut and everywhere else, and it was so expensive everywhere. Even Binghamton, which I never even heard of, was super expensive. So a friend said that why don't you try upstate New York? It's dirt cheap. So I checked out upstate New York, and I knew Syracuse. Everything upstate New York was dirt cheap, like Baltimore. But I knew I didn't want to live near Syracuse or Buffalo because it's blizzards 24/7. And I said, well, Albany is a capital. It didn't look that far on the map, and Wikipedia said Metro North goes there, like the subway, like, like the commuter line goes there. So I said, well, I'll check out Albany. It was dirt cheap. So, and then I have a few interesting coincidences, or as they call it, synchronicities about spring water in Saratoga Springs and hot springs. And, and I was longing to go to the hot spring that I had in Japan. I went to the onsen in Japan when it was great. And then I went when we tried to go up Mount Fuji and I failed, but, I didn't successfully make it to the top, but that's all right. But then we went to a great onsen, which is a hot spring afterwards. So I went to 2 or 3 hot springs in Japan. So I was like, I love that experience. And someone was talking about hot springs out in the Midwest where you just go and relax and there's mineral waters and blah, blah, blah. So all that I kind of like said, oh, Saratoga. I don't know much about Saratoga, except the Battle of Saratoga in the Revolutionary War, something that, you were forced to listen to in school and went through one ear out the other. And that's about it. The Battle of Saratoga next. And that's the only thing I knew about Saratoga. I didn't even know they did like horse racing or something because I don't gamble and do horse racing. But anyway, it was like, I don't know. And so I was checking. So that was like the first vision board. So at that point, I started saying, well, I'll check out Saratoga Springs. And it's a very nice, beautiful area. It's really quiet, great place to retire, but it's really lots of I like it up here. Very affordable. It's much cheaper in Albany County, which is where I'm at now in the Saratoga County. But there's lots of beautiful. It's either you're not too far from the mountains to go hiking if you like to go hiking. In fact, I even did a hike at Saratoga Cemetery about Benedict Arnold, and it was a night hike around Halloween. It was a really cool hike. They even had the reenactment people, and people brought their dogs and everything. So that was really nice. It was like slow pace, so it wasn't like you had to climb a mountain. But then if you want to go mountain climb, you could do that. So it's a lot of upstate New York, because you can always take Megabus and get to New York City in like 2 hours, so 2.5 hours. And I knew New York was a place for me to open doors, so that's why I was focusing on New York, not just because of affordability, but because I'm an artist and a writer and entrepreneur, and I was looking for a husband. And I said that all the men in New York, New York guys and international guys always give me love versus like other places. So, but anyway, I said, well, I wanted that. And I said my Saratoga Springs property, the circles as you wear in this campaign, and then my cute little electric car, which I never got, but it was cute. The cute idea. I picked the cute car, and it says, do not stay up longer than 20 hours again, because I was doing like 24 hours once a week, not by choice. Get at least 7 hours of sleep daily, and that means passing up on church breakfast, etc. Because like I said, at that point, I was working 16 hours Friday. Then I had 8 hours from Friday night to Saturday morning. Then I had 8 hours to rest. Then I had another 16 hours of Saturday night to Sunday morning. Then I had I guess that's when I had like 16 hours of rest. So literally from Friday night until Sunday morning, I had less than 8 hours of rest. Because by the time I got off of work and drove home and took a shower and went to bed, I had insomnia at one point because I couldn't, it was like always. And then at one point, of course, how convenient, my car broke down. So then I had to take the subway, which was fine. Then when I got to my area, I had to take the bus from the subway. So by the time I got home, it was like an hour and a half later, hour and a half plus later, by the time I got home Saturday afternoon. And then I had to take a bus and a subway back to work. So I was getting like less than 3 hours of sleep because by the time I got home, it took me like 2 hours, like an hour and a half to get home, and then an hour and a half to get to work. So that's 3 hours. And then you have 5 hours left to shower and bathe and sleep. And I got like 3 hours of sleep maybe. And then I was eating junk continuously because when do I have time to cook, But anyway, and I said, stop wasting my money on junk, take out food and cook. Yeah. And I says, exercise now. And I said, belly dance on Sundays, no matter what. Because they had a free, really cool belly dance class at this Turkish restaurant and bar. Take the subway to the gate on Saturday and dance, move, stretch, park at church, and walk to the subway, exercise at the gym at least twice a week. Because I was going to, and then I said, treat myself to Korean barbecue and Spa World in Reston, Virginia, get a body scrub, back massage, facial, blah, blah, blah. So I did all those things. But that was just goals I was trying to do. I will add some fantastic Korean videos to my site as well as YouTube supplying sexually wholesome video offering. So yeah, I mean, good concept. I'm glad I see that. I will post who read these showing my travels to exciting music. Okay, so that's something, an idea. So yeah. But I did do the Spa World. With that, so that's good to see something what I need to do. This is something that I should do. Like, it's not like a miracle, like fixing my foot or healing my body. This is just like productiveness and something I posted out and I forgot all about. So that's like the vision board for productivity. The cute little bubble car is a cute idea. I don't really need a car at this point because outside the fact that the pandemic shuts everything down, there's literally a bus stop literally right in front of my house that goes 7 days a week from like 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. And it goes from downtown Troy to downtown Albany. So if I need to go somewhere, and on top of that, I could go walk 5 or 6 blocks or walk 15 minutes to the old folks home and the bank and catch the bus that goes from the next city all the way to, I don't know where it is, somewhere downtown Albany or past downtown Albany. And that goes like every 15 minutes from, I think, 5 in the morning until 1 a.m. So I don't really need a car. And then there's Uber and Lyft. They used to have the rental car before the pandemic. The last time I got the rental car was 2020, the week before Memorial Day, because it went from $9. It used to have a $9 special for the $9 weekend special. Then it went to $12 special, then a $15 special. Then the week before Memorial Day was $25 special. And you could get it on like 100 miles unlimited. And they even had like 1 week rentals for like $175. So it was a really great deal. I could go everywhere there, or, so I don't really need a car at the time, but that was a cute idea. And it's still a nice idea. So with that, then here it says, my romantic dream helps soulmate draw, create, and detail exactly what I want him to look like. Well, patient. And the guy that I did meet, he is patient. So gentle, faithful, and wholesome. Well, until he gets horny, and that's all, guys. Excellent time manager, planner, and organizer. Because I was looking for a business partner too. I mean, I guess he had a job. He used to work like 700 jobs, so he was really good at that. He obviously was good at he's great with following through on things. And I mean, when he was independent, he has like some major flaws, but excellent time manager, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Jack of all trades, carpentry, plumbing, electric, auto, basic. Well, he's too lazy to do that, but I'm sure he could. His brother does. I mean, he did help me put the tile up, but I did. Is an excellent long distance driver and loves driving, traveling, and chauffeuring folks and me around, and is and drives, and he's also good at driving. And literally, he has a CDL, commercial driver's license. He could literally drive a Greyhound bus. He could drive a mega bus if he wanted to. He drove an ambulance. That's why I met him driving paratransit. He's a chauffeur. He literally would drive limousines. At one time, he was driving limousine for people going to funerals or going to the casino, going to and from like horse racing. So he drove limousines. He's literally and so he's a hellified driver. He can drive anything you give him, even a damn mobile home he could drive. And he probably can do a little bit of plumbing and stuff. He's just too lazy to. He would do it if you have to pay him to do it because he's whatever. And I would say he's attached and dedicated and stuck on me, but he has some issues, so that's why. Gentle, kind, non-argumentative, and laid back. Well, he is laid back. He doesn't really argue. He's really funny. And he's kind. Spiritual, observant, intuitive, and hears and sees to spirit. Well, he's kind of a skeptic. But he is very observant and intuitive, which kind of annoys me to a point. Because, it's none of his business. I don't know. He knows certain things, and I don't know why. So it's kind of annoying. And then I'm like, sorry, a lot of the stuff, and I even said like one of the guys was slim and didn't have very little body hair because I'm not into like furry guys, and he has very little body hair, and highly vascular. He's that, and he's able to do like, and then I put down, so physically, he's very handsome. He reminds me of Snoop Dogg. So of course, if you like Snoop Dogg, you can't go wrong there. And then it says Road Warrior needed 7-month world tour. So yeah, hey, valid CDL, and he has no prior DUIs, which is an experienced manager able to manage an X-month mobile tour and able to successfully pass a background check. Mobile management experience must be outlined. So yeah, so breakdown. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm gonna click that here. So I mean, I guess for that part, I did get a lot of those results. And I was speaking that out into existence all the time. I need to clear this out because I would love some. I need to clear that out. So I don't know why I got that part. But yeah, so the romantic part, I did get something decent there. And again, that's why I moved to New York, because I said I knew New York was a place to go to find my help soulmate. Literally, I knew that. Or Europe or Africa, somewhere, I'm not saying you can't find it in DC, Maryland, Virginia, but I heard it's DC sucks for relationships. I heard a lot of people said that. So it wasn't just me. Even my friend who's like, and I could take his picture away because he's nice when he could go. I don't need this guy. And then, what the hell? Where's the next part? Okay, so then, hey, there's supposed to be, well, anyway, I thought it was more than that. Well, that's odd. So it's only like a few pages long. That doesn't even make sense. But that's whatever. That's odd. With that said, that is what the hell? So that's the verbal affirmation. So that's the first one I did. And so I was, and then after, and that was when I did in August of 2008, 8108. So 808, 8108, 818, whatever, 818. So anyway, that's the one I did August 8, 2000. August 1st, 2008. Could have been really cool if it was August 8th, 2008. Anyway, what the hell was stupid thing? Save ass. With that though, that's the first one. And I guess at the time, like I said, I was going to pay, I did the real estate thing and all that. And then someone said, well, you need to pay these bills off. You need to pay this off, whatever, to I guess it's the same thing. I have no idea. With that said. And so the guy, the real estate, what do you call it, realtor guy, not the banker, but I guess it was the banker, but I don't know, the mortgage guy, whatever. They was like, pay off this old ass gas bill that your roommate screwed you over with. So once I paid, like I said, I had 1,000 parking tickets that I was getting my car towed and booted because I was like, why the hell are you giving me a ticket in the first place? So I was kind of like a rebellion. I was protesting it and refusing to pay the tickets. So I had like 1,000 parking tickets. and my credit score was like sewage level and so forth. And that included the gas bill and some other little small bills. So I wouldn't pay like a gas bill, and I think I owe like $50 for like a tax, something. So I paid those two things off, and I didn't expect much, but I did. I asked my friend again, the praying friend, who was agnostic, but is now a Christian, to pray with me to make sure those my credit grows. And like I said, the last time she prayed, the first time that I kidnapped her and she prayed for me, I got the job like 30 minutes later. So, and again, you could say, why don't you pray for yourself? Well, at the time, like I said, I was praying for myself and praying for a decade and nothing happened. Of course, I was speaking negativity into the atmosphere as well. So that's why I was like, why pray? It doesn't work for me, but other people can pray and get results. So that's why I went to other people. And sometimes God answers prayers that you have for others quicker than you. Because I know one time the guy who helped me, my friend's husband, helped me drive the U-Haul, move my furniture from Maryland to up here. He thought it was New York City, but it was upstate. So he was like, what the hell, you kidnapped me? But with that said, he was saying how my former roommate, his wife, was trying to get pregnant. She kept losing a baby. So I just sent that up into the atmosphere. She has 2 kids now. So, I spoke that into the atmosphere. So basically that was done in August 1st, 2008. And at this point, the house, like my mom was able to successfully get on a 2-year waiting list for an apartment, a really nice retirement place in a nice area of Maryland. And I was actually, like I said, I was going behind my family's back to get property because no one believed in me. They all was like, you can't take a get a property. I guess I was too incompetent, irresponsible, and stupid and dumb and whatever. So they didn't have any faith in me. So why even waste my time telling them? So the only person who knew was the praying friend and this one guy's cuckoo guy that I was dealing with. And those are the only 2 people that knew. And I didn't really tell the cuckoo guy till at the last minute, because when I needed to get the U-Haul and move, that's when I told him. So he didn't know till at the last minute. And I told my mom's friend at the last minute as well, because I said, well, I'm about to go to closing. I might as well tell someone. But I didn't tell my mom or anyone else because they were all like, oh my God, get out of here. Why would you're going to fail. You don't qualify. You can't do that. So the only person really that knew was my praying friend, and no one else knew. I didn't tell. It was a secret across the board. No one gave me a penny for it. I didn't ask for a penny. The only qualification I did was to take, they had like real estate classes in Baltimore. It was like once a week from like a 3-hour real estate class, about like first time home buyer classes where you would go once a week for like 2 or 3 hours in Baltimore. And they would tell you about how to build your credit, how to have a budget, how not to waste money on stupid stuff. Like don't buy a TV and big ass pair of tennis shoes and a car when you're trying, common sense. Like what moron would go out and buy a big ass, Hummer or a 17-foot TV when you're trying to get a house? I mean, that's common sense. But they was telling you stuff that was common sense, and it was also telling you little other things to help you as well. Then they had people there to talk about doing inspections. They had people there to talk about repair work, like, this is what happens if you need to fix your sink. And so it was very useful. I mean, it has stupid stuff that was common sense, and I'm like, really, if you don't know that, you're too stupid to even get a house. And then they had other stuff there that I needed to know, because I don't know anything about plumbing, but I guess if you're a plumber, you know that already. So they have very useful stuff there. So it's basically for first time home buyers who knew absolutely nothing. They were free classes, and I was going there for like 3 months or 2 months. And when you're done, you got a certificate, and I think you got like no money down or some hookup. So at the time I was, no one knew I was getting the house, but basically my credit was like sewage. Well, it was poor. So I didn't, not pre-qualified, but I had these bad things on my credit. So I went to pay the bill off. Let me take. I paid the gas and the old gas bill and some other little bill. And then I told my friend to pray to make sure my credit grows and this and that. And so she did that. And literally like a week or a couple of weeks later, my credit was like 1,000 points higher. I think it was up to like almost 700 or 680. It was something ridiculous high that it went up like 100 points or something ridiculous, because it went from like 5 something to like almost 700. It was like 680 or from 5 something to 680. It was something ridiculous, because I guess I qualified because it was a housing bubble and everyone and their uncle could get a house, and everyone was buying a house back in the early 2000s. So even if you had piss poor credit, you could get a house. But it went from like five something, 580 to like 680, went up like 100 points, 685. It was much higher. So that's like, oh, you got almost that, your credit's 1,000 times better now. So now you can pre-qualify for this. And then they took into account that all the jobs I was having, like the job I was working 40 hours a week over 3 days, working doubles on Friday, double on Saturday, and then a regular single shift on Sunday. Plus I was doing promotion and marketing work throughout the month. And I was working university for, what do you call that thing called, work study, which, I got taxed for and I got paid for. So I got work study income, which they didn't know. It just went through University of Maryland. So they saw we get a paycheck from University of Maryland, which I was doing for like the past year. You get a paycheck from the promotion and marketing job, which you do throughout the month. Like twice a month, you did promotion and marketing job, like on the weekends or something. And then you're doing this part-time weekend job, which is literally 40 hours. So between those three jobs and my credit score going up to like whatever, like 680, and I guess me, whatever, never getting evicted or something, I was able to pre-qualify for a decent loan. And so that was like, but then again, like I said, I couldn't, all the houses in DC, Virginia, I couldn't afford. So I said, if I got to move to disgusting Baltimore. So they started me trying to get a place in Baltimore, some little crappy place. And he was like, you could use this as an investment place if you don't want to live. Because he was basically looking for a place. I wanted a place where I could, a multi-unit, because a friend of mine, a Howard University student, she was a grad student and she was pregnant. And she basically bought a house in DC when Mayor Berry was still in office. And it was a crack house and it was a corner house. And she bought it for $40,000. Her grandmother left her a property, so she used that as collateral. And she used her financial aid as a down payment. And basically, she bought the house for $40,000. She had to redo the roof, which I'm sure cost like $15,000. And then she had to redo all the windows and doors, which I know probably cost another $10,000 because those aren't cheap. And she basically had like a basement, and I guess she put a full bath in the basement or something. And so she rented the basement out to somebody, and then all the upstairs rooms she rented out. And she literally lived in a living room. So she had a basement tenant and she had like two tenants upstairs. And she turned her living room to a bedroom. And, everyone shared the kitchen. And I guess the person in the basement shared the kitchen too. but basically, she even had a sunken barbecue pit. And so she was able to do her children. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Look at this. They're trying to stop me from doing my verbal talk about this. Isn't that funny? Hey, I get my water. Well, I guess it doesn't want me to tell you the results. Anyway, as I was saying, the sturdy thing. So I got the real estate because she was basically a full-time grad student at Howard University, minoring in theater. She had a nonprofit children's theater company that she did full-time or whatever. And like they say, always keep your day job until you make it. So she was directing a children's theater, which was a nonprofit, actually a 501c3 nonprofit. And she was working as a paralegal from home, and she was pregnant. So she had like a part-time paralegal job that she worked, what do you call it? Telecommuted. She telecommuted and went in as well. So she probably got good money doing paralegal work. And then she did the children's theater, and which is basically her own nonprofit. And she was a student. And so she said, so basically he was like, well, even if I don't have a day job, if I don't have the paralegal job, she has tenants paying her rent. So she shouldn't be evicted or homeless because she has a tenants paying her rent. And I have roommates all the time. So I said, that's how I got the real estate bug. So I wanted a property where I could rent out the basement or the attic and live, halfway, basically rent free. I don't know what they call it. I think they have a word for living rent free or mortgage free and stuff. Why is it doing this? So, so I don't know. I forgot the word that they use. Some house hopping or house sitting or some silly word they use, but whatever it is, I see they went here, but whatever it's called, house mortgage hopping, whatever it's called, I don't even know the word what it's called, but anyway, with that, I say it did all this. I basically was focusing on getting a place. Sound horrible off the key. I was focusing on getting a place um, that had that I could rent out the basement and stuff. So the place in Baltimore was a little shitty. Like I said, if I had to go to Baltimore, I was like, hell to the no. But anyway, the place in Baltimore had like it did have a basement, full bathroom in the basement. And I think it had a basement entrance. So I said maybe I could rent out. I could live upstairs and rent the basement out, or or live in the basement and rent all of upstairs out, whatever. So I was thinking of that, but I really didn't want to live there. And so the guy was like saying, well, even if you don't live here, you could use this as a investment property or something. And mind you, I'm still living in an apartment. I have no house, and I'm still living in a property. But anyway, so I started focusing on upstate New York. And I saw a couple of places in New York. One place was a really nice place in Saratoga County, not too far from a bus stop, near a really nice hippie coffee shop. It had like I think 2-unit apartment or three. It's like upstairs they had like a 2-bedroom, and downstairs I had like 2 apartments. One was efficiency, I think, and one was a regular apartment. And then I had like a huge backyard. I had like a parking lot. It even had storage units. But the man who did the inspection said it was like basically a total loss and condemned and blah, blah, blah. I thought he was lying. I was really upset because I really liked that place. That's why I said I went Saratoga Springs. It was a really nice area. And so I kept looking, and I found something. So basically when and then again, my mom, like I said, she wanted something on the second floor. She's still living at home. It was a 2-year wait, but she said I went on the second floor. So she was very specific. And like I said, behind everyone's back, I was trying to get a house, and I didn't want to live in no dirty Baltimore. So that wasn't even an option. So I said, if I can't afford DC, I'll live in New York. So at the time I was renting an apartment. My mom was living in the family house, waiting for a 2-year wait list to get into this retirement house. And I was trying to move to New York, but because I didn't want no dirty place in Baltimore, but I just kept doing whatever. And so by this point, I guess around, and the one place I really liked in New York, upstate, fell through because they said it's like a total loss and no one's going to rent you a construction loan because you're not a handyman, and which would have been really over my head. But at the time I was like, I could do it, but it would have really been over my head. So it's probably good I listened to the real estate agent, and she was an honest and decent real estate agent. And as of course, I'm working with a totally different real estate agent at this point in New York, but I didn't tell her about Baltimore. I definitely didn't tell the Baltimore guy about her. I really wasn't interested in the Baltimore place. I don't think they was interested. I don't know. I wasn't interested in that place at all. So I was really interested in New York. So I was kind of like but he was the mortgage guy. I guess he was the one that did the pre-qualification. So he was the one that was helping me with the real estate stuff as well. I was taking classes with him as well. He was helping me do like mortgage classes and stuff. So I was learning a lot. Like I said, I did the summer real estate first time home buyer class, and I was taking classes with him probably for the whole time I was doing the summer one, so probably like 3 or 4 months I was taking classes with him. So anyway, in the process, I wanted New York because, like I said, outside of guys that are from Africa or Europe or international, guys in New York give me much love. So that's another reason I wanted to move to New York, because I was looking for a relationship and opportunity. So I was focusing on New York. And so then I have my calendars, which I call my contracts to the universe, and I can even show you it. And I have one calendar that I got while I was a student at Howard University. My lovely coveted vision board contract to the Howard University calendar. There's a regular 30-day calendar on this side, and on the other side is a 4-month calendar, as you can see. So this is my calendar. I've had this for like obviously a long, long time, because as you can see, it's all ripping up and everything. So I got this while I was still a student at Howard. Why wouldn't I? Even had the little Velcro where you put the dry erase marker. And so basically, I was using this calendar forever, and then I was using this so much, and then I ended up getting, because I did the 30-day calendar, and then I turned on the other side, and I would do, let's say I would do like January here, and then I would do, February, March, April, May. And I used to do that while I was in school. But then I realized, okay, once I finish January, which gives you a whole lot of big, huge squares, this one gives you huge squares. You can write a whole lot here. But once I'm done with January, these squares are teeny. Look how small they are. You can't write that much there. So I never really used the February, March, April. I never used this side because it was too small. So I only used this side, and I never really got to use this side because it was kind of like ineffective. And so I ended up getting another calendar when I was working at a job at Kinko. I was working at Kinko's, FedEx Kinko's. So I got another 2-month calendar. So I was using those two. at the time. And so I still have this, so I can keep it over here. Right, Monkey Man? And so basically, I was using um, that calendar. Oh, yes, hello. I was using that calendar. And like I said, I did a very detailed vision board of all the pictures. I did all types of stuff. But then I said, well, you know what? When I first moved to the place when I first got the apartment that I didn't qualify for, and I had to get my friend, the one friend that knew what was going on, to kind of lie and say she was my supervisor, and and exaggerate, and so forth. I didn't know the zip code because why would you know anyone's zip code? I never knew anyone's zip code. Just like, I knew the address. I barely knew the address. I definitely didn't know the zip code. So I wrote, and at the time I had to pay a bill or something, and I wasn't really doing everything online at the time. Like I may have to mail off something. And so I didn't never know the zip code. And so basically on my calendar, I wrote down my address and zip code, and I wrote down my phone number because at the time I didn't know the phone number because I had a cell phone, but I also had a fax machine. So I had a landline. I think I had a whatever it was. I definitely had a landline, I guess, because I had a fax machine. So I had a fax machine. So I had a landline. I never really used it that much. But I had a landline, which I didn't know that. And I had the zip code. So I wrote down my phone number. I wrote down the address, and I wrote down the zip code on the calendar just so I could see it, what the address was. So whenever I have to give it out, people ask what the address, I could have it in front of me. But after living there for a couple of years, I was trying to move on to the next place. And I realized, I said, this address, even though, and I know like in the power, like the law, like The Secret, they said, thoughts are prayers to the universe. So if you think something, it's like a prayer to the universe, good or bad. Writing down stuff on like a vision board or something, that's like a contract to the universe. So these calendars are contracts to the universe. And then the spoken word is like a command to the universe. I command, the verbal things are commands to the universe. Thoughts are prayers to the universe, and written stuff is a contract to the universe. So I realized, I still got to control my thoughts. But I said writing stuff down is like a contract to the universe. And I said, well, I already know that at this point. I was living there for like 3 or 4 years, 2008 at that point. I said, well, I already know this address. I know my phone number, and I definitely know the zip code. So why am I putting down? I had to redo the calendar. I think it was probably like September or October. No, it was probably like September, like late September. So I had to do the October, November, December calendar or something, maybe October, November calendar, whatever. Because if you notice, at this part, let me show you that part. I forgot to show you that. What's going on, Camille? I used to keep the address here. Like I put down my address, my phone number in this little spot. And I have like here, obviously this is for your next month's notes and weekly time. Like it's for your class, so you can know what classes, what time your classes are and stuff. So basically I put the address there, and I put like that. But I said, you know what, I'm gonna put down, but I of course I do this at work too, because I'm like I said, I had like 8-10 hours at my job. And I think at that point, at that point, I had like, even if I wasn't like, they finally took me off the 40-hour 3-day shift when I said, well, can I get me some benefits? Oh, hell, because they didn't want to take me off, because why not? I kept asking, well, after about 3 months, I was like, I was beyond exhausted. So I said, well, can you take me off of the 3, and they didn't want to do it. So then I finally called Human Resources and asked about, if I'm working 40 hours, can you give me benefits? Oh, that was the last weekend I worked for 40 hours. After that, back to the 2 days or 3 days. You can work 3 days at the most. So I'm like, all right, they took that off instantly. But I worked at 4 to midnight. Whatever it was, I worked 4 to midnight on. I basically my shift was, I was like slow. It didn't really have, so I did everything at work. I see it's giving me the harassment now, which I find very annoying. And so I was doing everything like at Christmas. I would wrap Christmas presents at work. I would fill out, happy birthday cards at work. When my daddy's birthday came, I would make what are you doing? A happy birthday balloon and stuff and everything. I even did it for Christmas. I said, well, happy birthday, Jesus. It's supposed to be his birthday. I didn't know. Monica, man, stop it. And so I was doing all of that. And so, of course, I was typing, I was reading my books, I was doing homework at work. So I was doing homework, I was doing writing papers, I was looking at movies, listening to music videos. I was doing everything under the sun. And of course, I was doing I said, well, I would do my calendar at work because it's a big calendar. So you need space to wipe off, to dry erase all, wipe down all the numbers, write down all the notes, and then do all this stuff. So you needed space. I would do that. I was always very productive. Like I said, I had to work at night. Half the people was there sleeping. I never fell asleep. I was always doing something. I had a job working midnights at a gas station, like a low level job, but I was a cashier. I would go in, clean. You had to take out the trash, clean up the dirty bathroom, count the cigarettes. And like the first 3 hours, the first 2 hours, people buying cigarettes and gas and everything. And after that, you had like 4 hours of dead time, and you didn't have anything else until like 6 to 7. So I had like 4 hours of doing nothing. And then the last 2 hours of stuff. So I had 2 hours or 3 hours at the beginning of the shift, cleaning up, stocking, and counting cigarettes and working with customers. And I had the last 2 hours, making coffee and little cup. Then I had 4 hours sitting on my ass doing nothing, whatever. I had the 2 hours at the beginning, 2 hours at the end, and 4 hours doing nothing. So which is great. So during that 4 hours doing nothing, I did everything from I had braids, and these are dreadlocks, but I had braids. I took braids out of my hair. I brought my huge keyboard in. I was playing music at the key. I brought my prehistoric laptop in. I was typing and writing my book. That's my first book I was writing while I was working at the gas station. I was writing my book, doing music. I had my friend who had a guitar, but he came in, we played music, the guitar. I was making music, writing books. I was very productive at the gas station. A lot of people fall asleep at the gas. I was writing books and doing music and doing all types of stuff, at the gas station. So I was very productive. So here, while I was at work, I did the calendar, and I was like, well, you know what? I already know my address. Why do I need? I'm trying to move to upstate New York. Why am I putting the address? I'm currently here. I'm trying to progress. I'm not trying to be stagnant. I don't want to be stagnant. So I put down the new address. I made like a vision board, and I said, this is to my upstate New York, Saratoga Springs, upstate New York house with my 2 cats. And I did like a little picture of my Virginia cottage, and I drew a picture of me and my husband to be that I didn't have, my 2 cats and my child that I didn't have, and Virginia cottage, and a cute little bubble car that was eco-friendly and runs off of water and all this little stuff. So I did all of that, and I did that on this side. And then I also said, so I did all that detail. I don't even know if, and I probably did put in somewhere like my mom would get the second floor property. I don't remember even doing that with my mom, but I did put in like my mom, but I do know she wanted the second floor property. I said with a balcony on the second floor, a nice area. But I basically drew a picture and everything for my Saratoga Springs, upstate New York property with my husband and my child and my 2 cats and my bubble car and all this and all that, and my business and all this and all that. And I don't even know where and I knew I have the business one because, and I did that. And that was probably in, I don't know, October. I guess it was probably October, sometime in October. And then it was probably like the beginning of October. Like I said, I probably had to do October, November, December or something. Vision board and calendar, pick seed argument. And I remember seeing this. So if it was in October, let's say it was October, then I knew it was bigger than that though. So if it was in October, literally by it was before Thanksgiving. They was like, oh, you could close on a property. So they literally was like, so let's say the beginning of October, I did October, November, December thing, or October, November. What the hell? Okay. Oh, here you go. My dream loft in Saratoga Springs area. Welcome to my dream loft in the Saratoga Springs area. So I mean, and I had like all these pictures. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then what is it? And yeah, so this has to be 2008 because I put down here. I don't even know what this website is. A £1 million deposit, not dollars, not pesos, but euros and pounds, because a pound is like $1. Like £1 is like $2. Well, €1 is like $2, and £1 is $1.50. So if you have £1, it's like $1.50. €1 is like $2. So the dollar is much weaker to the European pound and euro. So I put £1 million deposit into my account before 2009. And the Circle's Edge will secure a corporate sponsor from a product line. Okay, so this is all interesting. And I put a picture of a pound up here, and I wrote 100,000. No, about a million. There you go. And a picture of Queen Elizabeth, and then a romantic dream so help. So I put that down. And then job requirements. Okay, let me see what else. And then my Saratoga Spring, and it was a beautiful, like I said, a hot spring. And this is a hotel, I guess, with a hot spring in the mountains. Beautiful. She can be, and I mean, and Saratoga Springs is not in the mountains, but it's not too far from the Catskills, whatever. So I knew I had more pictures up there. But with that, I basically put down, like here, I put down like my Saratoga Spring loft, and I was literally like that place, which fell through. It was it was 3 unit of property with a garage, storage unit, and blah blah blah, and had a parking lot and everything. And I said I could have like a little art center, and it was still available. I don't know if they're for sale though, but I don't know if anyone's living in it, because I saw it. I'm like, oh my god, that's the first place I wanted. Anyway, that was I put that down. Let's say October. At the end of September. It was like maybe September 30th, because I had it for the October-November month. And before Thanksgiving, literally, because my place, I was on a mega bus, and I was basically, they lost luggage. And it was like before Thanksgiving. I'm like, I know they did not lose my luggage before Thanksgiving, and somebody's gonna steal it in 2.1 seconds. Thank God no one stole it. So it was before Thanksgiving. So it was probably maybe mid November. It wasn't November 1st though. It was after November 1st. So I had to go to upstate. I had to come up here to close the property, but it wasn't the place I wanted. It was another one. So instead of it being a 3-unit property, it was a 4-unit property, and it had a garage. A shithole garage is falling apart, but I'm gonna claim that to fix it fancy. But it had a 4-unit, and one lady was living here since the dawn of creation, and her boyfriend / hand. And then it was like a nice place, and which is where I'm at now. And then they had this hag that's living here, Eeyore, I called her. And then upstairs is where I moved in. It was the nicest, brightest, biggest apartment. But if someone was living there when we went to see it with the realtor, but he was missing, I don't know. Basically, you went in and you saw someone was there. You saw his bed and all of his junk, but where was he? Who knows? And so I didn't meet him, but I met the other 3 tenants. One of them passed away. The Igor lady that lived down here cursed us out, slammed the door on us. So I didn't even see that until the inspection. And then the second time I went up there was for the inspection. And so the cops had to come and get her to make her open the door, because she didn't want to open the door. And she was like, he could come in, you and the real estate lady can't. So she didn't let us in, but he let the inspector in. And then the lady who's still here, who's been here since the dawn of creation, her and her cats was here, and she let us in. And the people, there was a couple, one guy, he didn't have any legs. I think at that point he passed away at that point by that time. An apartment in the 2nd floor. But anyway, and then they had the garage. So it was closed. And I know I had to close maybe like the 2nd week of November, because it was before Thanksgiving, but it was after the 1st. And my mom didn't know. And so I came up here without a U-Haul, just when I got a rental car, because it was, and the first time I came up here was, it was the first day of racetrack season. So was that July? Whenever the first day of racetrack season is, July. Because like I said, I had to go to Baltimore, to hell to the no. I live in upstate New York, or I live in New York, and I couldn't. So someone said try upstate. So it was the first day of racetrack season. I took the Amtrak from DC to up here. I didn't know it was so far up here. I had no idea I was so far from New York City. But I took the Amtrak up here, and it was all these people on here, and they literally, I was going to Saratoga Springs. They literally stopped in the middle of nothing with a bunch of gravel to open the door, and all these people jumped off, a bunch of, I don't know, gambler guys and stuff. And they was like, talk about how yummy. The water tastes. I mean, they was being sarcastic, but it's like mineral water, so it has like an egg sulfur flavor, but it's supposed to be good for you. But whatever. They was making fun of that, and it was like the train was crowded of people, but it was the first day of racetrack season, as if I knew. And every hotel was so solid. In fact, I had to go all the way to Albany and kind of like a ghetto area just to get a hotel room next to the TV station because everything else was solid booked because it was Saratoga racing season, which I had no idea. The first day was a racing season. So that was my first time up here. I guess in July, the first day of racing season. And between that time, I was coming up like almost once a month or more to come up till I do the inspection and look for another property and this and that. And so finally, I came up second week, I guess, in November to close on this property here. So yeah, so like I probably did the vision board maybe October 1st or or the end of September. And 2 months later, it wasn't 3 months, it was less than 3 months. This place was available, time to close. And then literally right after Thanksgiving, I'm getting a U-Haul to move out. Excuse me. I was getting a U-Haul to move out. I gotta blow my nose now. Ooh, excuse me. I was getting a U-Haul to obviously pack and move my stuff out my apartment to move up here. And this is before I told her this is before I gave a 30-day notice, obviously, to the apartment complex because yeah, I wanted to make sure everything was secure. So before I gave him a 30-day notice and before I even got a U-Haul, I got the keys to the apartment up here, which makes sense. And then I went back and got a U-Haul for after Thanksgiving. Yeah, I see my sinuses are harassing me. So, oh, there you go, Monk. Come in, you little bad cat. So it's for after Thanksgiving. It was for the U-Haul. I see Monk is having a good time. And literally, it was like, so I guess like, the first or the end of it was after Thanksgiving that I got the U-Haul. But maybe it was before the first. But anyway, when I got the U-Haul, that's when I told my crazy friend, I call him King Kong. I told King Kong about it, a gorilla. And so that's when he found about it. And I still didn't tell my mom. I still didn't tell any of my family. No one knew. He was the second person I told about. And I told my mother's friend the whole story. So I told King Kong and my mother's friend about me getting the place. So those are the only things. I told my mom's friend, don't say nothing. So I don't think she told my mom anything because my mom was surprised. So I told my mom I'm going to New York. I don't know if she told my mom or not, but I asked her not to say nothing. And I didn't tell anyone else. So it's King Kong and my mom's friend was the only other two people I told at the beginning. And so, and while I was literally getting King Kong to help me pack up and stuff, and we were going to, and I actually had my mom help me pack while I came home to the house to clean up because her house was a mess. So I told her to help me pack because she thought I was moving. I don't know if she thought I was moving, but I told her I had to pack to do something. So she helped me pack, and she was at my house, and I left her there, and I went to our house to clean up because it was a mess. But literally during that fiasco, that's when they said, oh, they literally, the apartment that had a 2-year waiting list said, oh, guess what, Miss Smith? We have a spot available for your mom because it's an apartment and it's on the second floor with a balcony. So she want to come and look at it. And so we went to and come and sign the lease. And I'm like, oh, it's a 2-year waiting list. And literally it was like 6-7 months later. Yeah, it's not even 2 years, like 7 months later. And literally of that 7 months, it was like maybe 2.5 months after I did the vision board that the apartment came available for my mom. And I closed on this property here. And so at this point, so I'm like, okay, now I have a U-Haul. And not only do I have to move my stuff, but now I have to move my mom's stuff. Look, I got the U-Haul. And then I had to move, everything up here. And it's like right after the election, like when Obama, like 2009, when Obama became president. And so that was a whole nother story that my mom, but she got the place too. And so now I ended up with two properties. I have this place up here, and then my mom moved into her retirement place. So now I have my mom's place, my childhood home. And at the time, my mom didn't know I moved up here. She didn't know I had a house. So I didn't tell her because, like I said, I did it behind everyone's back because no one believed in me. So I closed on a property, got the keys, packed all my bags, had King Kong help me, he can't even drive, move up here, unload the stuff. And then, next thing I know, they got the place. Yeah, because I think I unloaded it. And then en route back, there was like, my mom was like, go get some Sweetwater Taffy in New York City. Because I just thought I was going to New York City. She didn't even know I was moving my stuff or anything. And then when she got, and it just so happened when I still had the U-Haul, they was like, oh, your mom got the place. It's 7 months later, not 2 years later. And so I was like, oh, I have a U-Haul. So it just so coincidental. I didn't tell her why. It was a coincidence, but I didn't tell her about New York because she thought, well, I can move back home and you can move to your new place. So literally I got two places for the price of one, literally. So that's what I had, basically did that. And then the other vision board I had was this business idea. Oh, excuse me. And I see it's harassing me. The man I wanted, and then here you go. This is for Circles Music, which will incorporate me to pay off my New Year. I did fix my mother's place up, and I said, with this money, I will pay off my New York home, which I haven't yet done. I will build Virginia Cottage. I see it's going a little. I will build Virginia Cottage, which I have yet to do. And on top of not building Virginia, I will fix my mother's place up, send her on vacation, hit Granny off some money. And so I was saying I was going to do all this thing.